I haven't really been feeling like making videos or going live or doing readings for anybody, even though I have been. I have been going through a few different shifts, and I've been through many different types of shifts throughout my ascension journey, my awakening journey, and each one of them have been different. Each one of them, as I start to go through the shift, I'll start seeing like negative aspects of myself that I need to change, or people I need to clear out of my life, or certain thought patterns that I need to rid of, or, different ways of communicating with people. I mean, the list goes on. And it seems like there's a theme in every single time that I've went through one of these shifts. And one of those things goes back to self-love, belief in self, faith in self. It goes back to self, 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 self. So I feel like I'm going to ramble throughout this video because there's just so many different things that I want to hit on. However, once I start to do a video, I completely lose train of thought of what it is that I'm wanting to tell you guys. I get sidetracked into 3 to 5 different types of things, and that's somewhat what can discourage me. So doing this video is one of my ways of pushing through part of my ego death and realizing, like, if it's just one person that I help, then it serves its purpose. That's part of the ego where I feel if I don't have numbers, then I must not be helping enough people. However, then my other part of me says, well, my whole goal was the more followers that I have, the more clients that I would have. I was using it as a form of advertisement for my business, and it was working for quite some time. However, then it stopped. And so part of what I'm going through right now with my ego death and sitting still, that's another part of this shift that I'm going through. It's not just the ego death, but it's also part of sitting still, waiting, being patient, in multiple aspects of my life. Okay, not just one, but multiple aspects of my life. Anyhow, lost my train of thought again. As I'm going through this shift, this time I've noticed a lot of really following through with suggestions that are being given. Okay. One of the biggest suggestions that is being given to me every single day is just sit still. This is a super, super hard thing for me to do. Okay. So sitting still means I'm not working. Unless I am at work, of course, that's different. It's sitting still after work, but it means my dishes aren't getting done that day. It means that I may wash and dry the clothes, but they may stay in the dryer. However, during those times of pushing through, it's going to be okay. This is not something that defines me, and going through these different thought processes that my head's going through. I'm also learning that I had certain goals that I've already achieved that I didn't realize I had achieved because I don't sit still long enough to see my accomplishments. And I didn't realize that, one of the big things I've been worried about is my source of income, and wanting to shift from the income of a daytime job to just using my spiritual practice and business as my only form of income. And I keep feeling as if I'm not getting there and I'm not achieving anything. But every year I've increased in the amount of money that I make. Even though it feels like my appointments are few and far between, I'm receiving donations in between these appointments that people are making, and Spirit is giving me more time, which is what I've asked for. More time with my family, more time with my friends that I don't really have in my life at this time, because a lot of them have kind of went their own direction, or we just don't resonate with each other's energy of love, or because I've been in this solitude or what have you. But the point that I'm trying to get at is during this shift right now, I've wanted to quit doing anything with my business. I've wanted to not do anything with, evolving spiritually. I just have been tapped out, bored. I have got tired of the back and forth with connection with spirit, meaning it doesn't matter what I do. to feel connected. There's times when I feel very disconnected, even trying the things that I normally do and raising my vibrations in ways that, I normally would to help me to connect. And, it's times like that that I forget I'm shifting. So, my perceptions are going to be off or different. There's multiple ways of connecting, not just one way, the way that I prefer to connect. And, I can't even really think of specifically what that way is right now, but I know there's ways that I like to connect, and I fail to remember I can use the other ways of connecting, okay, is the point that I'm getting at. So the growth that has happened and is still continuing to happen in this current shift that I'm going through with an ego death, with spiritual perceptions are opening back up and getting very, very intense. I'm seeing things all day long out of the corners of my eyes, and, flashes of different beings that are right before me, just different things that haven't happened in quite some time, which tells me that this major downtime that's happened for the past 2 years of me, for me, to me, with me, for me, because it's as complicating and as challenging as it has been. I know now, because I'm going through this ego death, that every bit of those challenges and every bit of the things that had happened with my romantic relationship in the past, and all the times when I felt disconnected and very much connected and all that, it all had a purpose and had a reason. And each one of those things has taught me to get to this certain ego death and see it with eyes wide open. Okay. And what I mean by that is I'm not getting emotionally attached to anything. I'm just allowing myself to just flow with whatever I'm feeling. And mostly it's been peace. I can tell you this shift, it's been challenging. But each time I go through a shift or an ego death, the challenge becomes lessened, okay? And it's because I'm evolving that much that I see things and perceive things differently. So, not saying I don't make mistakes, not saying that sometimes I don't over or underreact or what have you. I am human. I am always going to be human. So I'm always going to have flaws, so to speak, and I'm always going to have times of learning and evolving, which is what I came here to do in the first place. So I'm even learning about that, not judging myself for where I am, where I want to be in. I'm not yet. And, I'm actually enjoying finding through different intuitive flashes, through spirit just guiding me to do a certain thing, through making that ridiculous song that I know that some of you have heard on some of the videos that I've done. I've been changing my perception, and the things that I'm manifesting are coming to me differently, easier. Okay, easier. Money is flowing to me a lot differently. I'm not having to work as hard. I'm having fewer appointments. However, I still have those appointments. Things are starting to shift and change, and it's uncomfortable because I'm used to being on the grind and constantly working and putting in overtime and doing whatever I have to do to get the job done. However, I'm realizing like I can still get the job done and still rest and still have time for me and still have time for my spiritual life. Now, the next part in this part of my shift right now, what I've been feeling in my whole entire being today and part of yesterday is, what am I going to do to revamp this energy? Okay, now that I'm starting to reconnect, Spirit's given me what I've been asked. What am I going to do to commit to that energy? Am I going to start praying again like I used to? I pray every day. However, my prayers are not like they used to be. They're not for as many people as they used to be. They're not for any cities or states that are going through anything. It's just plain old prayers for my kids and me. Okay. Thanks. Giving thanks. I give a lot of thanks. Mainly give a lot of thanks. Am I going to take the time to meditate in the morning and at night? Not just protect my energy, because I do that every day. Before I get out of bed, I stretch my body and things of that sort. But am I going to take it a step deeper and start doing things for my Kundalini energy? Yeah, I did that for a little while, and then things started getting back up. But like, really, am I going to commit to those things? So these are things that you need to be asking yourself as well. Am I going to do the things that are going to keep my senses open? Those senses that I felt disconnected with, and I felt like, there was only certain ways in which I was able to connect with spirit. Well, what did I do that changed that? I wasn't meditating as much. I wasn't sun gazing. I wasn't going outside and imagining my crown chakra being open and the moon pouring down into it and connecting with that energy. I don't do those things. So why would I expect the avenues in which we receive those communications, or that we intuitively even receive, why would we expect those to be up close and personal and very connected? And, if we're not doing the things that we need to do to keep that maintenance with them. Okay, so yes, you can open your chakras and they can be open for a while or function for a while. It's not really that they're open or closed. It's more like they're functioning or non-functioning. And you can have some functioning and others not functioning. I've experienced this. So I'm speaking out of experience. I don't care what anybody says. I know it for a fact for myself. Okay. It may not be your journey, but have I done the things I need to do to keep my chakra health in alignment? And the answer is no. And I'd imagine that if you're watching this video that you're going to resonate with a lot of it, even if it's going back and forth and all over the damn place, because that's what I do. You're going to resonate with a lot of this video. So just stick with it. The process, meaning the process, the process of going through this ego death or this transition from one type of energy into another, because I'm sure that it's not just you going through an ego death right now. It's probably you also transcending through energies in multiple aspects of your life, probably a lot in the physical aspect, but it's taken the emotions shutting down. It's taken you being still and being silent to receive, because a lot of times we're not sitting still enough to receive what we need to receive, especially if we're going through a shift and a change. There's a lot of times some of those perceptions are shut off anyway. So it has nothing to do with you believing or not believing or being connected or disconnected. It's because you're going through some sort of shift energetically, and it shuts some things down, or you're not capable of perceiving as accurately or something. So, learning during those times when you're going through a shift energetically that there's multiple ways of connecting, and working through those multiple ways of connecting so that you always stay connected and don't feel bored and don't get down on yourself and don't judge the process and all that. Even though I feel like for me, it's had a major part to play in the transition that I'm going through right now. So anyhow, 1212 guys, I hope that you guys got something out of this video. Is all over the place as it is. I love you guys. Just stay the journey, even if you feel like quitting and you are just done with all the spiritual aspects of growing and all of that stuff. Just stay still for a moment, because in that stillness, 1, 2, 3, 4, that's about progress, forward movement. But in that stillness, there is progress. There is forward movement. There's things that's happening and transitioning and changing that you can't see yet. Okay. And on the other side of that stillness is something worth having, something worth waiting for, worth being patient for. Anyway, I hope that you guys have a wonderful evening. Much love to you. Sending big, 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 big hugs. Bye.